Hello, and welcome back to Raging Loop. I actually don't quite remember where we were at, but I'm sure we'll remember in a couple of lines. Haru, is your wound alright? It's fine. I know it's not a good time to ask, but what happened? It was pretty bad, I'll tell you that much. Whatever, let's just start. Alright, I remember. Haru ran away from the village, essentially. And me and him went after her to find her and bring her back, and she hurt her leg. And yeah, that's essentially it. And now we're doing the feast. Everyone had a drink. Let's begin the feast of the Yomi Purge. Let's get to it. Takumi, did the snake's power work last night? Yeah, it did. Well, tell us. Kyo is a human. Of course, I'm no wolf. That means Muro and I are no longer suspects, right? It does. Let's look at what you have to decide today. If we continue based on the late Kanzo Makishima's decisions... Hold on, why are you taking the lead? I don't mind it if the eldest Yamawaki-san wants to take over. I'm no good at that. In that case, it's only natural that myself and Muro, adults confirmed to be human, should be the ones to lead. Well, unless you're both werewolves. Takumi, he's annoying. You lead. No, Kyo, keep going. He's still shocked from the elder's death. No need to force him. But I will do everything I can in his place. Muro, you console Madame Oribe. My boy, Kaoru. Here's my proposal. Let's do whatever we can to choose and hang someone today. Hold on, that's too reckless. But it's necessary. If we don't, the wolves will eventually kill the last human. Exactly. We'll have to harden our hearts if we want to survive the feast. Am I wrong, Yamawaki? You're right. The Yomibito must be hung. One soul per day, now divine. What if we make a mistake? Even if we kept it secret, we'd have to live with the guilt of having killed someone. It's true that it would be unpleasant, but such deaths wouldn't be in vain. What the hell? If we kill the wrong person, their death would be pointless. That's obvious. Watch your words when talking to your superiors. Listen, for now we only have two surefire ways to get rid of the suspects. Surely you understand, Yasunaga? Yes, the snake's power. Or killing someone and lowering the total number, huh? I know that, but do you really think we can all agree on someone? We can't do that. Do you think the one who gets killed cares which side wins? That's why we need to reach a consensus here. We need to agree that if the others survive, I don't mind dying. Huh? Is that seriously all we have? Yes, that's all we have. The laws of the mountain remain merciless. What the hell? I'm not just getting hanged for someone else's sake. Oh, that would make you a wolf, wouldn't it? Oh, why? You have no intention to put your life on the line for Yasumizu, and that makes you Yasumizu's enemy. Is that what you're saying? Am I wrong? People of Yasumizu, this is a test of your unity. You sure seem to be enjoying yourself. I'm only giving advice as someone from Kami Fujiyoshi, and as one whose suspicions were lifted. Be silent. Kyonosuke Nosato, you were quiet about this until the snake looked into you, right? Oh, what are you getting at? You already knew we had to be unified and accept death if it was necessary, didn't you? But you also knew that saying that would have made the snake's power way more popular, so you stayed quiet. That's just an assumption. She's right, though. A Kami Fujiyoshi guy who's no longer a suspect is telling us to die and be okay with it, as if we can just accept that. Takumi, you say something too. But he's right. Takumi? I agree with him as well. Suspect me, hang me. Whatever your decision, I will accept it. Ikako. As I said before, in this situation, Kami Fujiyoshi and Yasumizu are irrelevant. Not to mention, I know it might be impudent of me, but I believe myself to be part of Yasumizu. Oh, look at that. A respectable attitude. Something a certain someone here doesn't have. However, I do think that expecting that of this girl would be a bit much. You're all scary. But we have no choice. There can be no exceptions. Then, if you decide to hang her, I shall go with her. What? You mustn't. We only need the blood of one per day. I just have to die of my own volition. The corruption comes only for the sinner. If I'm already dead, then it no longer matters. But you're being a pain, Kyo. If you're gonna lead, do it right. And Uematsu. Yes? Think about what you're saying. Sorry, but you're ahead of Kami Fujiyoshi, one of our oppressors. Takumi, don't be rude to Uematsu-sama. See? You people are the reason why Bajang got so scared. Don't act like you're one of us. My sincerest apologies. And why are you in Yasumizu anyway? Honestly, I'm inclined to just start leveling accusations at this point. Takumi, are you saying all of this is Kami Fujiyoshi's doing? Who knows? Maybe not all of it. But their efforts to keep us here show that they know something is up, don't they? At the very least. I really can't believe some guys who think the feast is an old wives' tale, that the wolves are really on the human side. They knew that the people of Yasumizu would die if the mist came. They deprive us of not only our prosperity, but even our lives. Slander. I won't say that Kami Fujiyoshi is a group of saints, but they're a resourceful and dignified people. Not to mention sensible. It's the age where science reigns supreme. Of course they don't believe in some old superstition. Isn't that the reason why? What do you mean? They didn't tell you all the secrets Fujiyoshi had to offer. That's because your only value to your family is your belief that the family heads are upstanding people and that you don't shut up about it. Huh? Isn't that why they forced you to stay in the Nosoto mansion when you returned, despite all the dangers here in Yasumizu? Now you're crossing the line. Are you saying my family abandoned me? Hey, that seems plausible. You're just like Yasun and I. The heads are cruel. Those who lose the struggle for power, those deemed incapable, or simply those who dislike the ones in charge, can simply be sent here. Our situation is one thing, but Mom, she came here all the way from Tohoku and married into the Higuchi family, but got thrown out the moment Dad died. I didn't care about that. Mom, sorry, I didn't mean to. It was fine as long as I had Yoshitsugu and you, Yasunaga. Anyway, there's no doubt that they twisted our fates. I agree with Takumi on that. Too bad you're stuck here too, huh? I'm not blaming Yasumizu's people. What's gotten into you? We're all gonna die anyway. Shishan was acting all tough, but even he died so easily. I can't take this. Why didn't you just leave me there? I mean, if you wanna, we can just hang you. You weren't like this back then. What's wrong? I've just had enough. How sad. What's wrong? When wolves come, everyone becomes demons. That they do. That's why we need to hang the Yomibito. What a mess. Whatever. At least we know that Kami Fujiyoshi's people won't come and save us. The road was blocked. That's one reason. Anyway, I do think we should trust Kyo now. My reason's the same as Chiyomi's. Oh dear, that's sad. Think what you want. Anyway, when we have to hang someone, Uematsu is the easiest target. Keep acting like that and you'll be dead in no time. Then what should I? Just be honest and tell us what you know. Keeping quiet is the worst, and letting others take care of it won't do either, right, Kyo? Why not just take control of the feast, Muro? I just tried acting like the old man. That ain't me. I'll leave the rest up to you. I don't have much left to say. Let's just hold a vote and hang whoever ends up being picked. I'm telling you, that's too reckless. Of course you are free to argue your case, especially if you can prove you're more valuable alive. However, I don't want to hear any "I'm human" or "I don't want to die" non-arguments. Everyone would say that. The Chosen One gives up and gives his life, leaving the fate of Yasumizu to the rest of us. We'll hang at the hanging pine. That should do the job.
How do you vote?
Let's start with the elders. You can have brief interviews too. When the voter decides, I'll record it in my notepad. Huh? It's not anonymous? No way. We'll basically be telling people to die straight to their faces. I've had enough of studies hours nitpicking. I'm starting. So, what's your name? That's the old guy.
The old man who cried wolf.
He's been old when I was still young. You understand what I'm saying, sir? Which one of us do you think is a wolf?
Huh?
Me? Why? Wolf. Scary. Scary. One vote for Chiemi Serizawa. Hold on, are we seriously deciding who to kill like this? We have no choice. He's a participant too. We can't deny his right to vote, can we? Takumi, say something.
Yasunaga, what do you think?
I'll wait and see.
Same here.
Wait, are you really? So now it's me. I think I should vote for Chi too. Why? Tai? I'm sorry, I just don't know. But it's strange how you're so mad about everything here. If the others survive, I don't mind dying. Oh, I hear that, but I won't agree. Yasumizu's people are important to me, but so is my life. Not to mention I know I'm not a wolf, so I'm not just gonna roll over and die. Sure, I'll follow the rules. If I keep this up, I'll just get killed, not to mention we don't have any better options. Here, Tai, I've calmed down. Can you change your vote? Should I? You know, fine. It was my own fault for acting weird. Are you done? Muro, it's your turn.
I'm voting for Meiko.
Takumi? You...
Do I even need to give a reason? I know she's a kid, but we basically know nothing about her. It's just way too weird. I don't know how true the legends are, but if something fishy comes from Saranaga, and if it's salmon, it's only fair to think she's fishy too. Takumi, if that was how it worked, what would be the point of this bothersome feast?
I don't think we should decide based on that either.
Even if she didn't come from Saranaga, we still don't know who or what she is. Think about it this way. What if this little girl really was a wolf? If we all just ignored her because she's just a kid, she'd kill us all. Do you get that?
Looks like you're thinking too, Muro. Next, Madame Oribe. Haru Makishima.
Mom!
Why me? Why not? Tell me then, why did you try to run away today? You were feeling guilty over killing your grandfather and Yoshitsugu, weren't you? No, that's not it. Then why? Because I was scared. I didn't want to stay here. Lies.
Haru, stop. His death hurt all of us, even me and Haru. All of us hurt.
Oribe, what will you do with your vote? Haru Makishima it is. I'm next, and I'm voting for the nameless old man.
Huh?
But why? That last exchange made me realize that he's not rational. We don't need someone like that around. That's so unfair. He regularly said that the wolves were coming even before all this happened. That's more than enough to find him suspicious. Still unfair? He has a point. I think he's either completely insane or secretly knows something. Have you ever considered that there were feasts before this one? He should have been around for at least one. But I haven't, and I'm over 70. But he could have, no? He's older than you, after all. He could know something, but might be unable to say it because of senility, or might be hiding it out of malice. With this vote, I might be able to get info out of him. And if not, he's worthless. Worthless? Is it truly right to hang people based on whether they have worth at that particular moment? You say that, but if we continue, we will make more progress tomorrow. What do you mean? Today, Muro will use his power to investigate someone. We'll know the truth about another person. The spider will once again protect Muro. By repeating this, it'll only take 3 times to know who's a wolf and who's not, even if we guess wrong. Kionosuke, Have you considered that the fact that Muro has guaranteed you as innocent basically means that you will die next night? Without a doubt. The wolves have no reason to go for anyone else besides you. I mean, there are technically possible reasons, but by far the biggest percentage play, I guess, is going for you. Really? In one day we'll hang someone. Someone will get killed by the wolves, and the snake will reveal another person. We'll find out about 3 people in one day, and since all the 11 besides Takumi and Nosato are unknown, it'll take 3 or 4 times? Exactly. We'll only have to hang 3 people at most. With that in mind, if you don't want to hang those close to you, you should start with those who aren't. It's for the good of Yasumizu.
Now listen here.
I'm arguing to maximize the happiness of the majority, Muro.
Nosato, are you serious?
What?
Chia's math only works out if the wolves only kill people the snake hasn't checked. What if they only went after those whose identities were already confirmed? For example, what if they went for you tonight? I don't think I can agree with voting based on such a flawed conclusion.
Don't you think you're being too easy on the idea of killing your own?
I haven't said anything about killing my own. I'd never say that.
Oh man. Well, there were some mistakes there, but we're already voting. I'm leaving your decisions to you. Next up is Rikaku Uematsu, right?
Going by seating order, I'm next. How troubling. I don't have enough info to go on.
Why are you so calm?
I'll make a mistake otherwise. That's why you and Mom should calm down, please.
Hold on, Yasu. Sorry to cut you off, but I just had an idea. What? Can the monkeys reveal themselves? Why would they? Yasunaga and Sir Makishima said it'd be best if they don't present themselves. Well, I was thinking the same thing at first, but what's the point of the monkeys then? They just know who the other monkey is, right? Not like they get any new info later.
That's true. The only use I can think of for them is catching fake snakes.
But they can confirm who the other monkey is. So they can be confirmed as non-wolves just as easily as those investigated by the snake, right?
What if they lie?
Lying would be too risky. For example, I'm not a monkey, but if I went, "Hello, I'm a monkey," what would you do?
I'd say tell me who the other one is.
Exactly, but I couldn't say it because I'd be lying. Now, for example, if I said, "Alright, it's Mochi," then... How did you know? Don't joke around. Well, I can't prove it, can I?
I see, but what if he played along because he thought being a monkey would make him safe?
The real monkeys would call him out, and then we'd hang all 4 one after another to be sure. That's... The rule of thumb is that only wolves would try to lie to survive. So that's the right thing to do, isn't it, Nosato? That's true. Once you clarify that's what would happen, you shouldn't get anyone pretending to be a monkey.
I see. It's too dangerous for both humans and wolves. It's just not worth it.
Does everyone understand? Looks like it. Then please name yourselves. We'll lose 2 suspects. Right here. What is it, Mochi? I'm saying that I'm a monkey. You're not just dragging out the joke? Yes, yep, I'm a monkey.
So, like we agreed, who's the other monkey?
Meiko-chan.
Huh? Meiko, is that true?
What? When you woke up, was there something on your stomach? There was, a monkey.
She knows the symbols?
Yes, I taught them to her, alongside prayer to Shinai. We have any other monkeys? Doesn't look like it. That confirms it.
I see, so they really are monkeys. Crap, so I wasted my vote.
I mean, as if you can't just go, "Alright, I'll vote for someone else then." What do you mean? I think you should be given a do-over. You want to bend the rules.
It's best to make it impossible to retract votes. We'd have too many people trying to change their vote at the last minute. Good point. Fine.
But I mean, okay. Sorry about interrupting. Back to Yasu.
I'll vote for the old wolf man. My reason is that I think staying silent and doing nothing indirectly helps the wolves.
I'm next. 1,000,000 votes on Tai. What? 1 vote each. And 1 vote for Tai. I find it weird how she just voted for Chia out of nowhere. What are you saying, boy? That's why you young'uns are such good for nothings. Oh, I'm next. Alright. 1 vote for the old guy. So even you went for him. Shut up. Oh, shut up. My reason is that I don't have any better ideas right now. That's it. Haru's turn. I'll vote for Uematsu. You had to have been the one who brought the corruption. No, I'm only here to fulfill my role. Then just do that and take in the corruption. You're not doing that because you're a wolf, aren't you? What's your tongue? I cannot disagree. I'm powerless. You don't have to humble yourself before these people. It's your turn. The person who voted for you must be suspicious. Listen to this guy. I will vote for Yasunaga Oribe-san. You... I do not find him suspicious, but I just had a thought. There would be no worse possible occurrence than were he to be a wolf.
I did say a lot. I can't blame you for thinking I'm just tricking people. But I don't think I said anything wrong. At least I didn't intend to. I don't mind if you vote for me. I believe that votes to express your outlook are important as well.
The old wolfman is at the top with 3 votes. You there, child. You're the last one. Meiko, do you understand? I need to choose the wolf. Yes. Her? Me? Wait, seriously? You're scary. I'm scared of you too. We need a final vote. The 9 people besides Chiemi, Serizawa, and the old wolfman will vote for one of those 2. The wolf is coming. The results are in. Old wolfman 7 votes. Chiemi, Serizawa 2 votes. Everyone besides Tai and Meiko voted for the wolf guy. Shut up. Are you ready, sir?
We all decided this. Every one of us is equally guilty. Better get ready, old man. Do you understand?
I need time. Need to clean up. You want to take care of your belongings? I believe we can allow that much. What if he's planning to escape?
Haru.
Then I'll keep an eye on him.
You do that.
As soon as he returns, we will take him to Saranaga. Rikako, where's the rope?
How did he turn Scottish?
Right here.
It was already evening. As I whiled away the time with some fruitless contemplation, I heard noises outside that brought me back to reality. People were shouting loudly. What's wrong? I opened the window and shouted. It was facing the cliff, so I couldn't shout to the settlement directly. They probably didn't hear me since I didn't get a response. What happened? So I shouted even louder. Fusashi, stay right where the fuck you are. Huh? Was I about to get punched? What happened? I could only repeat myself. It's dangerous right now. It was? What do you mean? I didn't get a reply this time. I only heard several voices clamoring. Then I heard someone hurry up the dorm stairs. Who's there? I got no response again. What was happening here? Someone was definitely close. It just made me more tense.
Oh, Haruaki.
Wow, Chiemi, yet again. What a twist.
What's that supposed to mean? Sorry, but you should stay there right now. This might be really bad. Her voice was cut off by a scream, though it was more like intense cursing. It was Takumi's voice, no doubt about it. Chiyomi left without saying another word. Huh? Hold on, open up. I fought the door, but it showed no signs of opening. I can help, damn it. Shit. Like hell I was gonna stay out of the loop any longer. Turning around, I went to the open window and decided to try jumping out. Though I was on the second floor, it wasn't too high of a drop. It would make my legs a little numb, but so what? I jumped out without any hesitation. I properly bent my knees so I didn't hurt myself at all. Then I ran to the settlement where I'd heard the voices from. I quickly understood the cause of Takumi's shouting. They were cries of despair. The reason was somewhere downhill along the way to the graveyard. It was a small grove of low trees with a carpet of leaf mold below. It would have been hard to see even if there was no mist. You could hear running water nearby. I couldn't see where it came from, but it was probably an irrigation channel for the paddy fields. There was a small crowd gathered. I peeked through a space between them. There were bodies. 2 of them. One was of an old man, and the other that of a child. Though their appearances were vastly different, each was in a similar state. They lay on the ground with their hands over their stomachs, utterly still and covered in blood. These were the corpses of the old man who cried wolf and Chikamochi Kamoshida. No, I liked him. Why? What happened?
Uzaishi, weren't you in the dorm?
I was until now.
Bullshit, you're the one who did this, aren't you?
Huh? No, I'm not. I just came out of the dorm. I even talked to Chiyomi. Yeah, it's not Haruaki, Takumi.
Then who did this?
Forget that. We need to treat...
There's no point. Don't touch them.
We might still make it.
They've lost all their blood. Their stomachs are open and their guts are all over. What kind of treatment can bring them back, huh? You know one? Go on then. Say it.
There was nothing I could say in response. There were 5 of us on the scene. Chiyomi Serizawa, Takumi Muro, me, as well as Yasunaga Oribe, who was vomiting on a nearby bush, and Rikako Uematsu, who was watching the remains from a distance. Most were proactive, and I could see why they were here, but Rikako Uematsu felt a bit out of place. But then I remembered that we were already pretty short-handed.
What happened? Who did this, damn it?
Look here. She pointed to the old guy's clothes. There were gatherings of fur all over his garments. Werewolf. If that was the culprit, then this was the work of the corruption. Was that what she was saying? No. This was completely different from how the others had died. The fur proved little. Let me see the wound.
I told you not to touch it.
But this is completely different.
Quit acting like you know shit. You never find out anything.
But if we stop trying to look, we won't understand anything at all.
Quit the act, outsider.
Takumi, calm down.
Shut up. Everything went to hell when he got here. If he didn't come, none of this...
Felt like he was about to grab me. I could clearly see the intense emotion whirling in his eyes. I thought I could get him to trust me, but now it was back to square one.
Mochi, why? Why?
Yasunaga Oribe calmed down a bit, faced the remains of his dear friend. His voice was shaking. The expression on the corpse was eerily pale and emotionless. Even a look of agony was absent. It almost looked like he was smiling. Did his face muscles simply go limp? This isn't the corruption.
How do you know?
I'll prove it if you let me pass.
He glared at me with immense hatred before letting me through. Look away if you can't stomach this kind of thing. I walked up to the old guy's corpse. He looked as distant as always, but the lack of blood flowing in his face simply made his appearance even more creepy. I avoided looking at it while I grabbed his back and rolled him onto it. With a wet sound and trace spilled from the wound in his stomach. How horrid. Don't force yourselves, people. Except you, Takumi. Look. The stomach was clearly torn open by a blade. This isn't some supernatural punishment. It was caused by a person wielding a weapon. And since there's no weapon nearby, it means that someone intentionally removed it from the scene. So, Yasumizu has someone who's both armed and capable of an act like this. Please give me the details of what happened during the feast. What led to this? With several people here to tell me, I ended up with a decent grasp of how today's feast went. Kyunosuke had suggested they choose who to kill by vote. The wolf guy and Chiemi ended up with the same amount of votes, resulting in a tiebreaker vote. Most ended up voting for the wolf guy, sentencing him to death. He said he'd wanted to take care of some things, so he and Chikamochi Kamoshida went out, while the rest stayed where they were. Were they really the only ones who left? Yeah, the feast was still going on at that point. Them leaving was an exception. You expected them to come back and resume the feast. What would you have done then? That isn't something we can tell an outsider. Alright, but anyway, they didn't come back. How long did you wait for them? No more than an hour. We started to worry and went out to search. Found them in less than 10 minutes. So the culprit was one of those not present. Chiemi, Takumi, Yasunaga, and Rikaku Uematsu. The five in the hall, Nosato, Kaori, Meiko, Haru, and Tai simply couldn't be responsible. So, someone killed the two, changed into some clean clothing, and came back to pretend to keep searching? That's impossible. Did you see each other while searching? No, we split up to cover more ground. Let's return to the hall. We then went to the hall. Kyunosuke kept watch and confirmed that no one besides the victims and the search party had left the building. That limited the potential murderers to the search party and I. I asserted that I was still in the room when it all happened, and they believed me for now. Though Takumi continued to suspect that I used some sort of trick to escape and commit the murders. Well, that was fair, considering everyone else was with them, but I knew I wasn't the culprit. That left only one possibility. They died right after they left the hall, then someone removed the weapon. And you're still the only one who could have done it. I'm telling you, I heard him in his room. I'll say it as much as I have to. I'm innocent, and since I am, something else had to be responsible for their deaths. I see you're avoiding using the word murder. You noticed? I am. As it stands, this could be suicide, death by illness or poison, followed by desecration of the corpses and removal of the weapon. How would doing something like that benefit us? If you ask me, things become much simpler if we assume you and Serizawa are partners in crime, don't you think? I don't know, but doing that wouldn't benefit me either. Really? Tell me, is there any proof you didn't know each other before this? Huh? We didn't, obviously, but what does that have to do with anything? The people here believe an eerie legend. You could have come here to take advantage of that and pretend to be monsters to murder them for your enjoyment. Please stop. There are some lines you shouldn't cross. Stop this, all of you. Tai Yamawaki walked out of the hall. I could see Haru Makishima, Meiko, and Kaori Oribe behind her. That made a total of 10 survivors. 9 if you excluded me, who hadn't participated in the feast. Whoever killed Chikamochi and the Elder, they went against the laws. Jinai-sama will object them to the corruption. She put her hands together in prayer and faced the peak of Mount Shinai at the opposite side of Sananaga. Strangely enough, that was enough for everyone to fall silent. Rikaku Uematsu joined in and Meiko copied her. This was this settlement's way of solving things. They gave up on discourse and just left it all in the hands of a higher power. Well, what do we do now? One has already split blood for the day. The elder has died. Let's end the feast for the day and clean up. Alright, Yasunaga, help out. I can... You just sit still. The situation was only getting worse. Soon after that, it was time to shelter, so everyone retreated to their houses. Takumi had entered my room and boarded my window completely shut. If you're not the culprit, something's gonna happen even if you're locked in. His words were harsh, but there was a hint of composure. He might have actually believed that I wasn't the one who did it. Or maybe he found peace in the idea that the mountain would punish the culprit. Or perhaps he just believed it was the work of something supernatural. Whatever the case, he was dwelling less and less on the matter. Was the wolf guy a wolf? I had no idea whether that was plausible. Assuming he wasn't, 2 of the remaining 9 were wolves. With Kyonosuke being a confirmed human, Takumi being the snake, and Meiko being a monkey, there were a whole 6 suspects. Thanks to my advice, Chiyomi suggested the monkeys reveal themselves, and they turned out to be Chikamochi, Kamoshida, and Meiko. Though Mochi had just died, that was a heavy blow. Him being a confirmed non-wolf was one reason, but more than that, he was one of the few people here who actually talked to me without restraint. He was somewhat of an oddity compared to the rest of the people here, but I did find him to be a fun guy. I'd like to get back at whatever injustice had stolen his life. Clearing my head, I resumed thinking. Since she was acting suspicious today, Takumi would investigate Haru. Tomorrow we'd have only 5 suspects. That would give them decent chances of picking out the 2 wolves. It seemed to me like it wouldn't be that hard to find the murderers, who would surely be shaken by what they had done. And then the outed wolf, not wanting to die alone, would reveal their partner. That was the most optimistic way to look at it. From a pessimistic standpoint, though, the situation was absolutely terrible. 4 people had died today. In a normal Feast of the Yomi Purge, it had to be 1 per day, 1 per night. This was double that. If things hadn't gone so well in the forest, even Haru Makishima might have died, not to mention the dreadful state Kaori Oribe was in. I was told their relationship had gotten worse. Kaori was in no state to prepare food, so it was likely that no one had eaten anything today. The hunger would only worsen everyone's morale. It was best for them to prioritize getting a proper meal tomorrow. Even so, there was no guarantee we wouldn't get any more irregular deaths. For example, someone at their wits' end could attack a wolf suspect despite the threat of corruption. If they ended up losing more humans while the number of wolves stayed the same, the humans would be done for either tomorrow or the day after. Escape. I'd been entertaining the idea ever since lunch. The path was ruined and I'd had to travel through an undeveloped grove, but I hadn't run into anything supernatural there when searching for Haru. Maybe I could get out as long as I watched where I was going? I also had Sananaga as another option. Everyone here hated it, but that just made it less likely for me to be caught. Going down a misty rocky cliff was dangerous, but at least it was a one-way road. I just had to be careful I didn't get taken by the currents, and it was definitely better than just staying here and dying. However, perhaps even suggesting that was dangerous. According to Rikaku Uematsu, the effects of the corruption were limited to the one who broke the laws, so you could escape them by killing yourself. However, if someone said they wanted to escape the village, the punishment would likely go to both the one attempting it, as well as the ones who allowed it. The escape would surely become a hell of an experience then. However, there was an optimistic view of the situation. Something was actually here. Something abnormal was here in Yasumizu, killing and menacing its people using abnormal methods. At the very least, Yoshitsugu Oribe, who went to face it, suffered a horrible death. The superstitions weren't baseless, and it was best to look at the situation from that angle. My plan of escape contradicted that. But then, how could I prepare for whatever was to come? The best I could think of was trying to familiarize myself with Fujiyoshi's superstitions. Perhaps I could find some sort of weak point or a hint that could lead me to their identity. 5. Prepare for the feast when the evening mists arrive.
The action rhyme they did was obviously referring to the Feast of the Yomi Purge. I couldn't remember all the lyrics, but I felt like there was quite a lot of info there. Perhaps there were more hints for the feast in Yasumizu's culture and general area. I felt I had to talk to Rikako Uematsu. She was an adult who seemed more involved in Fujiyoshi's prayer and stuff than most. I needed to arm myself with more info by tomorrow morning. That, along with the proper progression of the feast, were my only ways to survive. About today's feast. They must have decided to hang the wolf guy because they just didn't care about him all that much. Simple as that. Sure, it was important to get rid of the participants who weren't cooperative. However, the fact that we'd lost 6 people, they still hadn't gone beyond he or she is kinda shady, was pretty bad. Yesterday, they wouldn't have hung anyone for such a petty reason. Well, the problem was that they hadn't hung anyone at all so far, but then again, it wouldn't be a good thing to give the impression it was okay to kill people just for seeming shady. This place was regressing back to a feudal, superstitious mental state. If there was something that could stop them from sinking there, it would be an outsider like me. I steeled my resolve and waited for the night to pass. Good evening. Ah! I was so startled by the voice on the other side of the door that I momentarily screamed. What time was it? 7? It was too early for an attack and too late to walk around. What's wrong with you? Aren't you gonna get punished if you don't sleep? I think another hour is fine. I was awake until 8 yesterday and nothing happened. I've been sleeping too much, honestly. I'm not tired, but I'm really hungry. Don't you have your food stocks? With Kaori being... well, you know, I decided not to touch it. Might share it with the others. We're all hungry today, so I'll just tough it out. Also, can literally no one in this town cook? Like, what are you talking about? Like, Kaori doesn't magically produce food out of thin air. There's gotta be ingredients somewhere, just cook them. How upstanding. You should eat though. What, the stuff from before? I'll pass. Why are you here anyway? Can't sleep. Is that really it? Araki, do you suspect me? No. Why? Because you told them about the monkeys, knowing full well what it meant. The Feast of the Yomi Purge is a well-constructed communication game. Well-constructed? I mean that there's no way to win this game beyond communication. Chikamoshi-kun thought the same thing. To win, both the humans and wolves need to have some tricks and individual strategies. Consider the monkeys. They seem useless at first, but you can use them to easily eliminate 2 suspects. And this is possible from day 1, though they can become reliable leaders, though that will be hard from Mochi and Meiko. Yeah, he was a free spirit and she's a child. The wolves, on the other hand, have to go on the defensive. In a situation when being suspicious is enough to get yourself hanged, it's important not to draw attention to yourself. That's easier said than done though. Yeah, keeping a silence can be just as suspicious as being a blabbermouth. Exactly. But there are 2 factors that make it easy to gauge trustworthiness right from the very start. Do they have something to do with monkeys? Yeah. You have to watch out for those who give bad advice or don't provide useful suggestions. A good example of the former is Kiyunosuke. His poor planning threw everything into disarray, and that makes him really suspicious. But he's confirmed to be human. Right. Well, that's assuming Takumi wasn't lying about being the snake. Huh? You're saying he could be lying? It's not impossible. After all, anyone can say that they have a guardian. Honestly, if I were a wolf, I'd lay low until I killed a few and then claim to have a guardian to ensure my safety. I see, but Takumi came out on the first day. Yeah, that was basically suicidal, but since that allows the spider to protect him, it's like a telling blow that hurt the attacker. I think. Anyway, all things considered, I'd say it's safe to trust Takumi and Kyonosuke. Personally, I think you're trustworthy too, since you spoke up about the monkeys. What if I only did it because I saw your game? Oh, that'd be bad. Wait, hold on, aren't you basically saying you suspected me until I spoke up about the monkeys? Oh, you noticed. This goddamn guy, what the hell, man? I did it because I wanted to believe you. Alright. I forgive you then. Woohoo. So, who's the most suspicious one? Haru. Thought so. She's not making much sense lately, and you can explain her shift in personality by assuming it's because she killed her granddad. Or maybe she couldn't agree with the other wolf on their decision to kill Kanzo and stop trusting anyone. Oh, that would make sense. You could make up 1,000 reasons like this though. We couldn't go just by that. They'd said Haru hadn't gathered many votes, but they treated her like some kind of pariah, making it clear that everyone suspected her. It was only natural to use the snake to check on her. Though, she doesn't seem all that good at games and stuff. It probably wasn't fair to judge her purely on not making any useful contributions. In that regard, Yasu is way more suspicious. Huh? But he did say a lot, like pointing out my math was incorrect. And he did say something like what you just said. Not doing anything indirectly helps the wolves, or something like that. Not to mention that on the first day, he suggested that the spider should hide. That's true. Though most of these things were minor, he was definitely contributing to the game. The first day was especially important. For the wolves, it was best to create a flow where they could just stay quiet and wait for those with guardians to out themselves. What bothered me was the fact that he wasn't the one who'd brought up leader selection and the monkey thing. He was shady because he hadn't made those useful propositions. I thought he'd figured those things out a while ago. Or maybe I, as an outsider, just had a better grasp of the situation. I guess he's innocent then. I don't know about the rest though. I can't even imagine what Rikaku, Uematsu and Taya are thinking. I know what you mean. But if you looked at the circumstances outside the feast, Rikaku Uematsu was pretty shady. It always felt like she was hinting at something. It wouldn't have surprised me if she knew more than she let on. If she was a village head, she could know things only those from Kami Fujiyoshi knew. There was more than enough reason to suspect her. If only we could follow that lead and solve this whole thing, it would make things way easier. Haruaki, are you enjoying this? No. But you look like the type who likes mystery stories. I won't deny that, but I can't really enjoy myself when people I care about and I are in danger. If I did act like some master detective, I'd really just be some useless amateur. It wouldn't accomplish anything. I'm not sure I buy that. What do you mean? Everyone else is a mess. I think most normal people would lose it in this kind of situation. I could say the same about you. Not exactly normal either. She's a wolf. Oh yeah, I heard that you almost killed someone. Who told you that? That's a secret, though it didn't sound intentional. Well, how do I say it? I think it happened in middle school. I grabbed the bat and beat up some students who were bullying the Yasumizu kids. Whoa. Some of them were connected to the head families, so it became a big deal. And that's basically why the adults here are so harsh on me. I see. So you fight out of a sense of justice. So she was sent to Yasumizu for making enemies out of the village heads. I wouldn't say that. It's more like I just have a short temper and wanted to make a scene. Rebellious phase? More or less. Same as Haru and Yoshi. In a place as rural as this, it's rare for children to grow up as level-headed as Yasu, don't you think? Really? I'd think they'd be healthier and nicer than the edgy brats from the city. Let me rephrase that. In a place as poor as this. Well, there was no doubt that Yasumizu was destitute. There were no cars, cell phones, and it didn't even feel like it had an economy. They probably lived mostly off the land, making money from whatever they could spare from their farms and hunts. Since they had no decent way to sell stuff to anyone outside, Most of their business had to be done through Kami Fujiyoshi. It was entirely likely they were ripping them off. No way this place could be wealthy in these circumstances. I didn't believe that money could buy everything, but poverty took its toll on the people suffering it. Some could live in poverty while retaining their purity, but that was borderline saintly. It was a lifestyle too difficult for the common masses. Also, since the people of Yasumizu were ostracized from Kami Fujiyoshi, they were targets of unjust pressure from day one. I could understand why the children here strayed from the path. Though when you looked at it like that, the way they strayed was so mild it was almost cute. Are you disturbed now? Not really. You're lying. You now think I'm so blunt I'd whip out a blunt object to beat you up. I'm just going to ignore that poor attempt at a pun. Sorry. My ex wasn't any different. Oh? Oh, I see. You seem confused and I have no idea why. You weren't lying when you said you broke up with your girlfriend? You thought I was? I thought it was just some kind of pickup line. That's just mean. Our breakup was insane. I actually felt like my life was in danger. Sorry to hear that. What about you? Huh? Your history with guys. I shared mine, so hearing yours is only fair, right? Yeah, well, how many did you go out with? 2, I guess? What happened to you being a hyper slut who's done it with 53 guys? I never said that. I did exaggerate a bit, but I did get tons of invitations. And yet you only went out with 2. Well, I didn't find many guys I got along with. What about me? Let's not go any further. If I let myself get too attached, I'd be too scared of dying. Being afraid of death is normal though, isn't it? Not really. Why? God is way scarier than death. I feel like you have a very unusual image of God. Really? You think of it as something frightening that you might actually meet, right? Everyone has met God. Maybe they just can't see it. And God really is scary. It's just that no one knows how. Myself included. You're the only one I don't understand. That's probably why I'm afraid of losing you. What happened to your eyes, Chiyomi? That's something you say to those you promise your eternal love to. Are you mad? A bit. I see. You've gotten this far and you're still being cagey regarding your own background. You can only take playing hard to get so far until it gets annoying. I'm just not sure what to do. This isn't easy for me either. Just tell me everything. I'm going back. Chiyomi. Good night. What the hell? Why didn't she talk? Did she still not trust me? Was she messing with me? Was she just kind of crazy? Or was it something else? Crap. I wanted to chase her down and get a real answer out of her, but I was locked in. This is so frustrating. Though this wasn't the time to worry about that. Who would the wolves go for tonight? The wolf guy was dead, meaning there was one less person who'd vote Chiyomi out tomorrow. It wasn't likely she'd get top vote. It was best to think that the wolves would go for someone who was useful to the humans and couldn't be killed with the votes. That meant that she and Yasunaga were the ones at highest risk. On the other hand, their survival would make things difficult in other ways. I'd probably be forced to consider the possibility that they themselves were wolves. Could I really trust Chiyomi? I felt I could, but not completely. Whatever the case, a situation where the more talkative ones were seen as suspicious would make it harder for her to survive. Could I have talked to her about running away? No, that was probably pointless. I didn't know much about her whole god thing, but it was clear that escape wasn't even an option for her. Something scary that everyone had met, yet not fully perceivable. Was she speaking figuratively, or could she literally see something? Yeah, I don't care. I became irritated. My hunger was starting to get to me. Figuring it was better than just wasting my mental energy, I focused on taking a bath and going to bed. I had no idea just how naive my predictions would prove to be.